Hello everyone, welcome to the new session of Cultivation Practices, Processing and Marketing of Mango, Papaya and Banana Part 3. So in this session we are going to study about the cultivation practices, processing and marketing of banana. So in this session we are going to study about an introduction to the banana crop. So we will know about what type of crop banana is, right? And also the soil required by banana, what type of soil is required by the banana, what is the irrigation, all that we are going to study about in this topic. The growth cycle of banana consists of two phases, right? The vegetative and reproductive phases are the two phases of the banana. So that also we are going to discuss in this topic. And the system of planting in banana. So there are many different types of system of planting. So that also we are going to see in this session. So let us start. Banana is the fruit of plant of the genus Musa. So this is the genus name Musa, and the family is Musaceae. So which is the cultivated primarily for food and secondarily for the production of fiber used in the textile industry, and are also cultivated for the ornamental purposes. So this banana plant is cultivated for fruit. The first thing is that we get a fruit from this, and that is included in the food. And secondarily, this plant is also grown because it provides us fibers, and that fibers is used in the textile industry. Okay, and I must want to tell you that each and every part of the banana is very useful, whether it is a stem part, whether it is a root part, whether it is a leaf part, flower or fruit, all the parts of banana is useful. Okay, so almost all the modern edible parthenocarpic bananas come from the two wild species, that is the Musa acuminata and Musa balbisiana. So these are the two species that we get fruit, that is the parthenocarpic fruit. Parthenocarpic fruit or the parthenocarpic banana is the banana that do not contain any seed. Do not contain any seed. So you must have observed that they do not, or banana generally do not have seed, and if the seeds are present, then also that is not viable. So the scientific name of the bananas are the Musa acuminata, Musa balbisiana, or hybrids of Musa acuminata and Musa balbisiana. Right, so we are having these two species which are generally used for the food purposes, that is we get the fruit from it, and we are also having the hybrid of these two species, so depending upon their genomic constitutions. So bananas are the vigorously growing monocotyledonous plant. Monocotyledonous herbaceous plant. It is actually known as the giant herb. It is not a tree. It is an herb. It is not even shrub. It is an herb, right? And it is a monocotyledonous herbaceous plant. The banana is not a tree but a high herb that can attain up to 15 meters of height. So this is a particularly, you can say, a herb that is growing up to the height of 15 meter. So this is very, very important. Banana can grow from the poorest to the richest type of soil with the varying success. So we are studying here the soil required by banana, what type of soil that is required by the banana. So they can grow in the poorest to the richest type of soil. So the soil should have good drainage, adequate fertility and moisture. So this is one of the very, very important aspects, that it should have a very good drainage system. Wherever the banana is growing, it requires a lot of water. So, and adequate fertility means soil should be fertile and also it contain moisture, a lot of moisture. Deep, rich, loamy and salty clay loam soil with the pH between 6 to 7.5 is the most preferred for the banana cultivation. So this is the type of a soil, that is the rich, loamy and salty and clay loam with the pH between 6 to 7.5. Such type of soil is required for the banana. So ill-drained, poorly aerated, and nutritionally deficient soil are not suitable for banana. Right. So if the soil is not properly drained or poorly aerated, then the banana will not grow properly. It is not suitable for the growth of the banana. Extreme clay means lot of clay is there. Sandy soil, saline soil, and calcareous soil is also not suitable for the banana cultivation. So if the in the soil lot of clay is there, or lot of sand is there, or the salt is there, or the calcium is there, right, then the banana plant will not grow properly. So avoided soil of low-lying areas, very sandy and heavy black cotton with ill drainage. So this is not suitable. This type of things are not suitable for the growth of the banana. Low-lying areas, very sandy soil, or very heavy black cotton, ill drainage soil. A soil that is too acidic, not too alkaline, rich in organic material with high nitrogen content, adequate phosphorus level, and plenty of potash are good for the banana. So first thing, that it should not be too acidic and it should not be too alkaline as well, but it should contain lot of organic material that is rich in nitrogen content, phosphorus, and potash. So that type of soil is very good for the growth of the banana. So if the soil is containing high nitrogen content, phosphorus, and potash, then the banana plant will flourish. Bananas are perennial, which produce succeeding generations of the crop. So once the banana is like this, right? Banana plant is like this, and it is having fruit. A bunch of fruit is like this. Now from here, suppose this is a ground, a lot of science comes out, right? And every time you will have a new banana tree here. Okay. So the first cycle after planting is called as the plant crop. So first time you are having a plant of banana, then it is called as a plant crop. The ratoon is the sucker, also called as the follower, succeeding the harvest plant. So once this plant is harvested, so these plants will be called as the ratoon, or is the sucker. Okay, and also called as the follower. The second cycle is called as the first ratoon crop. So these plants will be considered as the first ratoon crop. The third cycle is second ratoon crop, and so on. So once you grow a banana crop, you will have a banana tree like this, and after that a succeeding every year a new, because once the banana gives the flower, it is harvested, it is cut from here, and these new one will give rise to the new plant. So like this, the banana give rise to the new plant. Now the growth cycle of banana consists of two phases. So vegetative phase, the first one is the vegetative phase, and the second one is the reproductive phase. So what happens in the vegetative phase? Let us see. The vegetative phase, or the shooting, begins with the reproduction of leaves by the plant tissue culture, and end with the inflorescence appearing at the top of the plant. So the vegetative phase means the shooting, the plant is emerging out, begins with the production of leaves by the planted tissue. Suppose you are using the plant tissue culture, then from that, when the shoot is coming out, so that will be called as the starting of the vegetative phase. Okay, and there is a reproductive phase as well. The reproductive phase begins with the transition of the vegetative meristem into the floral shoot. So once the reproductive phase begins, what happened at that time? There is a transition of the vegetative meristem into the floral shoot. So this vegetative meristem will changes to the floral shoot. Some of the meristems of the vegetative phase are responsible for the formation of the floral shoot. So that is the starting of the reproductive phase. During the growth cycle, the plant develop essentially the three major components. So this is the reproductive phase actually. Then what happens in this? So an underground comb producing suckers and roots. So here what you see in the underground, there is a comb, this is a ground, and from here plant is present. So this is the plant of banana, right? And here what you see from the comb, new this suckers are emerging out. Okay, so these are the suckers, and also the roots are emerging. So this is the comb. So in the growth cycle or in the reproductive phase, the suckers will emerge out from the to the upper region, and roots will emerges out from the lower region of the comb. A pseudostem consisting of encircling the leaf sheath and carrying the leaf. So this is the pseudostem. This is not a stem. This is a pseudostem. So then what is the true stem? This corm is considered as the true stem. An inflorescence containing the female flowers that develops into fruit. And here we will have initially the female flowers, right? And later when the fertilization is there, then it will changes to the fruit. The length of the growth cycle depend upon the cultivar, means what type of varieties we are using, we are growing, then it depends on that, the growth cycle, the length of the growth cycle. Now, pollinating can be done in May and June or in the September and October. Single sucker is planted upright in small pits and taken in the center, leaving 5 centimeter pseudo stem above soil level. So, if the sucker is having or the stem is having leaves, right, and the length of this is having 5 centimeter, so that can be used for the planting. So that is the single sucker is planted when it is at the height of 5 centimeter. Soil is pressed around the sucker to avoid hollow air spaces. So there should not be any hollow spaces when you are planting the sucker. Tissue culture plants are planted. Now planting. Tissue culture plants are planted on the top of the pit at ground level, and the poly cover should be removed before planting without damaging the root. So if the plant is present in the poly cover, right, like this, the plant is present like this, okay, so you have to remove this poly cover while planting. So planting is followed by light irrigation, means a small shower of the water we provide, and the partial shade should be provided immediately after the planting. It should not be exposed to the very high sunlight, right? There should be a partial shade at that particular time when you are planting a new plant. Trim the roots of the decayed portion of the comb to avoid wilt disease in the Rasthali, Monthan, Virupakshi, and other wilt susceptible varieties. So these are the wilt susceptible varieties, means in these varieties wilting generally occur, right? So to avoid disease, what we have to do, we have to cut the roots that is emerging from the comb region, right? So what we have to do, infected portion of the comb may be pared and dipped for 5 minutes in 0.1% emission solution. So this we can do that if the comb is infected with the you can say wilting generally occur with some of the fungal, but there are many other reasons also. If it is because of the fungus, then what we have to do, then we have to dip it 5 minutes in 0.1% emission solution. And pralinage is done with the 40 gram of carbofuran 3G granules per sucker. Alternatively, dip the comb with 0.75% monocrotophs, shade dry for at least 24 hours and plant it. Use tissue cultured banana plant with 5 to 6 leaves. So if we are following the tissue culture, right, then our tissue culture plant should be of 5 to 6 leaves. So this we can do. Now, system of planting in banana. There are many different types of system of planting in banana. So the first one is the single row system. Means we are planting the banana in one single row. In a single row planting, the distance within the row is very close, and whereas the distance between the row is wide. So this system allows good aeration to plant canopy and allowing wet leaves to dry more rapidly, reducing the fungal diseases severity. So suppose these are the situation of the plant in a one single row, but we are keeping the distance more in between the two rows. Whereas you can see in the row, in one single row, the distance between the two plant is not very much. But here in the case of two rows, you can see the distance is quite long. Okay, so in this, less number of trees occupied in the field and yield will automatically reduced. So but this is a limitation. This type of planting system is having a limitation that less number of trees are occupied in the field and automatically the production of the banana will be less. So in this method, the distance between the two line is 0.90 to 1.20 meter, while the plant to plant distance is 1.2 to 2 meter. So due to this spacing, intercultural operations can be carried out easily, and the cost of the dripping irrigation is also decreased. This is for the paired row system. Square system. This is the most commonly followed system and it is very easily to lay out. So square system like this. So banana is mostly cultivated by adopting 1.8 into 1.8 meter of spacing. So this is the square type of system. Here it is 1.8 meter and here also it is 1.8 meter. So in this system, trees are planted at each corner of a square, whatever may be the planting distance. So here one plant will be there. Here also one plant will be there. At each corner of the square, you can have one plant. So in this way, we have to decide our square system. That is the square layout. The central place between the four trees may be advantageously used to raise short-lived filler trees. This system permits intercropping and the cultivation in the two directions. So here we will have the space in between this is square system, because at every corner we are having the banana tree, right? But what happened in the center, we can have any different plant over here, right? So it is a type of intercropping. Triangular system. This system is the best suited for the tissue culture banana sucker. So suppose we have developed suckers from the tissue culture technique, then this particular system can be adapted for the planting system. So in this, adopt spacing in between the rows was 1.5 meter and the plant to plant was 1.8 in the row, and the trees are planted as in the square system, but the difference between that, those in the even numbered rows are midway between those in the odd rows. So here we will have a counting of the odd and even rows. So like this, right? So we will have like this triangular planting system. One tree here, one tree here, and one tree here. The distance between any two adjacent trees in a row is equal to the perpendicular distance between the any two adjacent row. This we can follow. And when compared to the square system, each tree occupies more area and hence it is accommodated few trees per hectare than the square system. So this type of triangular system occupies more space as compared to the square system. So here you can see the different types of system of the planting. Single row system, here you can see the rows are single, and here you can see the paired row system, two plants in a single row very close by, and square system here, 1 2 3 4, this is the square system, and in between we can plant some another tree, right? Triangular system, so here you can see the triangle 1 2 and 3, triangular system like this. This is the square system, this is the pair, right? And this is the single row system. So these are the different type of system of planting that we can adapt while planning for the planting of banana tree. Now, methods of planting. We are having three different methods: pit methods, furrow method, and trench planting. So let us see one by one. Pit method. Pit planting is commonly followed in a garden land system of cultivation. So generally this type of system is followed in the garden land, and pits of 60 centimeter into 60 centimeter into 60 centimeter into 60 centimeter size are dug, filled with the mixture of soil, sand, and farmyard manure. So you have required the mixture of soil, generally it is of the topsoil, sand is there, and farmyard manure, because it is having the nitrogen, phosphorus, and other important minerals. Planting is done from the February to May, whereas in the North India it is done during the July and August, because at this particular time lot of moisture is there. So banana tree require lot of moisture. So this is a very good time in the North India for the cultivation of the banana crop. However, this method is very laborious and expensive. This pit method is quite laborious and expensive even. So here you can see the pit method of banana, because you required a lot of efforts to make a pit in this way all over the ground. Now, furrow method. In Gujarat and Maharashtra, furrow planting is practiced. So here we can make a furrow, ridges and furrow like this. And after land preparation, 30 to 40 centimeter deep furrows are made either manually or with the Ridka. So the furrow method of banana planting, here you can see, here is also a furrow like this. Okay. So this method is generally practiced in two states, that is the Gujarat and Maharashtra. Trench planting, the third type. The trench planting is practiced in the wetland cultivation of the Quarry Delta region of Tamil Nadu, that is in the southern India. And land is prepared like a paddy using plenty of water and the gauge wheel. So you all know that in the paddy field, what we can do? We filled it with water, right? We filled it with water. So in this way, in the same way, uh, we fill this land, the crop land, with the water, like in the case of paddy. So water is drained from the field, allowing setting for a day. So water is drained from the field, and it is allowed to set over a day. And planting is done by the simple pressing the sucker into the wetland. So when the land is quite wet, you can simply push the suckers into the wet field. So now sucker production and the root growth, how the sucker is produced and how the root emerges out from the sucker. So the number of suckers per plant was more in wider spacing compared to that in the closer to that in the closer spacing. So once which is in the wider spacing, right, it will have more number than it is having in the closer spacing. The sucker per plant decreased with the reduction in the planting distance within the reduction in the planting distance in the Robusta and the Povan. These are the two different cultivars. And the length of the fine root increases with the increase in the plant density to shooting and decline thereafter. So these are some of the things that you should know about the sucker production and how the roots emerges out. So you all know that the root emerges out from the comb, the lower region of the comb, whereas the suckers emerges out from the upper region of the comb. So the production of sucker, you can see, right? In the sideways, this is the main tree, and here you can see it is coming out from its sideways. Flowering and the fruit maturity. Fruit yield. High density planting in banana enable to achieve higher yield. So if the plant density of the planting in the banana is more, then you will have the higher yield of the banana. Higher density planting coupled with the practices like the cowpea intercropping, timely irrigation, and the fertilization can bring phenomenal yield. So, if you are having a cowpea intercropping, right, and timely irrigation, and you are having the fertilization at the right time, then obviously you will have a more yield than compared with the other type of situation. Means in the not having any intercropping pattern, not having proper irrigation, not having the fertilization process timely, then obviously the the yield of the banana will be less. So this intercropping is very important phenomena here. That is, the cowpea intercropping is increasing the yield of banana, helping the increase of banana, because these are the pulses, and pulses helps to increase the fertility of the soil by the nitrogen fixation. And you all know that the nitrogen is one of the very important mineral required by the banana. Different planting densities, fertilizer requirement under the HDP system, that is Nalina we have quoted here, with planting of 3 or 4 sucker per pit at the spacing of 1.8 into 3.6 meter. So means 3 to 4 sucker you can plant. That is the high density planting, because the density of the plant will be more as you are planting 3 to 4 sucker in one single pit. Okay, so there were 3 NPK levels: 50, 75 and 100% of the recommended doses: nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. So these are the very three important minerals that is required by the banana plant. Disease. Sigatoka leaf spot is increased under the high density planting, especially in the high rainfall and the coastal region. So in the coastal region, when the rainfall is very high and we are having the high density planting system, okay, then there is a Sigatoka leaf spot very often can be seen. And it is as the plants are very densely placed, so it can spread very easily. In paired row planting, higher plant densities increases the relative humidity and kept the leaf moisture longer and thus increase the incidence. Okay, so in paired row planting system also, as the density of the tree is quite high, and if the relative humidity is also high at that particular time, then there is a more chances to these pathogen to withstand there, get established, and chances of there is a disease causing to the plant. Under North Karnataka conditions, wider spacing, that is 2.4 into 2.4 millimeter, results in less disease incidence during the second return of Rajapuri banana. So this is one of the very important, you can say, the variety or the cultivar that is used for less disease incidence. Cropping system in banana. The farmers around the world produce banana and plant in the different production system. These represent farmer ingenuity, experimentation and tradition under the particular soil and the climatic condition, but also their responses to the market opportunities. Right. So farmers of in the world produce banana and they are adopting the different production system. So let us see what is that. Homestead or the backyard cultivation. Homestead farming is characterized by the improper spacing, inadequate use of fertilizer and pesticide. Generally, we do not think about all these things while having cultivation of this particular crop in our backyard, right? And homestead gardening is the traditional practice of the multiple and the mixed cropping in the small holding of the Kerala. So in the Kerala, you generally see this type of gardening system. Okay, but there they do not apply a lot of like fertilizer or any type of pesticides. These farming systems need based crop production system adjacent to the adjacent homes of the Keralites, which can be defined as the man-made forest fitted to the family needs. So, according to the family needs, such type of planting in their homestead or the backyard they do follow for this particular banana crop. Crop rotation. Now, crop rotation is growing of two or more crops one after the other in the same piece of land. So, if it is once time it is a banana, then another time or another season there will be another crop. This is called as the crop rotation, and it is advantageous that the succeeding crop belongs to a family different from that of the previous crop. So, the requirement of the mineral that will be also different. So the land will be like that if one type of mineral is not present at a time, right? In due course of year, the period of crop rotation may be for 2 to 3 years or longer, and farm income significantly increase while following this crop rotation. Better control of weeds we can have in this particular type of system. Better control of pest and disease also. It improves the soil structure, fertility and organic matter content. So banana may be rotated with paddy, sugarcane, pulses and some vegetables even. Mixed cropping. Mixed cropping is growing two or more crops simultaneously on the same piece of land. It is also known as the multiple cropping. We have once discussed while we are discussing about the square system of the planting of banana, right? This type of cropping leads to an improvement in the fertility of the soil and hence increases in the crop yield, because when the two crops are properly chosen, the products and the refuse from one crop plant help in the growth of the other. So in this way, mixed cropping is very, very important in the case of banana cropping. So this is all about this session. Thank you very much.